But anyway, watch out for that. We will
All right,
have
Kate,
some
we're
press.
ready.
You ready? Awesome. Dan?
All right, all right. I'm very excited. So today we have Hrish here from Superworld. Hrish Lotlikar. And if I said your name wrong, please, I want you to correct me. So I apologize on that one if I did. But I'm going to tell you his bio. So, as co founder and CEO of Superworld, he's connecting users, community, brands, influencers that want to create, discover, and monetize their own virtual world. He was also the co founder of the Rogue Initiative, where he was connecting people that were interested through virtual reality and augmented reality, feature film, TV, gaming, content creation, publishing, distribution, and investment. So he has a wide range, not only from virtual world, but from VR and AR, which is amazing. I know he also has a high interest for connecting early stage venture investors. And he also is a board member and advisor for many technology companies as well. So we are very excited for Hrish.
Yeah,
Rish,
thanks.
welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with the audience and excited to share our story at Superworld and our mission and our vision to build a better world.
Yes, absolutely. Before we go deep dive, I was so jealous you hanging with Richard Branson at the Necker Island.
Oh yeah, that was amazing. Richard's one of my heroes, and I think he's one of the most amazing people on the planet. So I was also, very excited to get to know him and call him a friend. So it's amazing experience.
Amazing. Now we're supposed to have a meeting with him next month, but that get pushed through because of Omicron. Damn Omicron. But anyway, very excited. Rich, welcome. I'm so honored you're having here today. Can you tell us what was your journey like to get where you are?
It has been exciting. I'll tell you that. I've always been a curious person in general. I love learning. I love travel. First and foremost, I'm globally nomadic, so live in different parts of the world every single year, and I've been doing that for a very long time. So, I think that's driven from the fact that I just really love exploring. I'm an adventurer. Similarly in my career, I've taken a pretty broad perspective on life. So, originally kind of started off, in the medical space. I was doing an MD, MPH, MBA. And in fact, in college, I used to surgically remove eyes for transplant surgery. So it's very, hardcore into medicine. Ended up getting a grant to do an MBA from the National Institutes of Health. Took me down this other path. Did management consulting. I worked on Wall Street in investment banking. I was in corporate finance, public finance, and M&A. Of all things, I started off in real estate investment banking, and we're doing virtual real estate at Superworld. So understand the traditional real estate space really well. And it's funny how you can't connect the dots going forward, but you can connect them going backwards. So I'm very happy and fortunate to have understood the real estate space, especially with all the stuff that we're doing now. And then got into venture capital, investing in New York across tech and biotech. About 10 years ago, had the opportunity or the idea really to go to the emerging markets and start a VC fund. It was more like, wouldn't it be cool to go somewhere in the emerging markets and do this and start a VC fund? And so I did. I got on a plane, didn't know anyone, went to Ukraine, Russia, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Moldova. Took me about a year and a half, but I ended up starting a VC fund backed by Victor Pinchuk. Victor is one of the biggest investors in that part of the world. He's the guy who backs Yuri Milner at DST. And then I did the same thing in Belarus. I'm on the board of Tech Minsk, which is an investor backed by the US State Department and Google. And then after that was early at a company called TopTal, which is a talent marketplace backed by Andreessen Horowitz. So learned a lot about scaling platforms and help grow and scale TopTal. And then finally, about 6 years ago, I started Rogue Initiative Studios, which is a film, television, gaming, and virtual reality studio in Hollywood. My co-founder produced Call of Duty, Modern Warfare series, and Ghosts. And my production partner is Michael Bay, the action director, who's known for Transformers, The Island, Armageddon, big action movies. And basically what we do at Rogue Initiative is, create new original content IP that then, goes on to, we make a feature film, a television show, a game, an immersive entertainment experience, all the way to amusement park rides and toys. And that really formed the basis of, Superworld. Pokemon Go came out, became this hit, and we thought, you know what? Why can't you, enable anyone to create a world that creates cross-platform content anywhere, and then bring Web3 into that to let people own it?
Well, I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
Is there something you didn't do? You went from medicine to tech to funding to real estate. Like, I'm curious.
Like I said, I really love learning. I'm big, I read a lot. I read, a book at least, every week or every 2 weeks. So, just really, I enjoy life. I love experiencing things. And so for me, it's a passion. It's a joy to be able to, have the opportunity to be able to be involved in so many different careers and professions and fields. It's always, again, driven by my curiosity to life, and really enjoying, I'm very passionate about what I do. So that's kind of been the driving factor for me. But, again, I think everyone should do what they love. And for me, that's kind of where that's led me into Superworld.
Thank you. Now, Hrish, why virtual land? Of all the whole metaverse, how did you, you mentioned you did XR, VR, why virtual land?
Yeah. So, I think the idea, in terms of, again, the inspiration, and again, Pokemon Go is a big influencing factor here for us, is we saw, what you can do utilizing augmented reality in real world locations, right? For me, it was, and me and my co-founder, it was the opportunity to build a platform on top of the real world with cross-platform content. Again, the ability to create anything, discover anything from anywhere. And so very simply, that was a very simple idea, which is, why not, let's not limit anyone from doing that in real world places in an immersive way, whether it's AR, VR, MR, any type of content. And then once you start putting things in locations, right, then those locations become important. And the utilization of Web3 NFTs in this case, and we started Virtual Land back in 2018, so we've been in the NFT space for a long time. And the idea there is, if you can give people ownership of that land, give people the ability to help accrete value to that land, and bring key stakeholders on board because now they're owning parts of the platform, the value of, again, the content that's being created there, and the monetization of all types, even decentralized finance, and other types of monetization that's possible. By bringing the land equation into that, or in the land into that equation, you really bring, power and key stakeholders to be able to influence the overall platform locationally. So I would say very, as a pithy statement, if we're moving to the internet of locations, it's great to have the ability for people to own those locations and feel like they're able to help build value there.
Well, a lot of people were asking, oh my God, they're freaking out where they should invest their land. I mean, by the way, I love the concept of the Superworld, because then for me as an investor side of you, I want a real world. I don't want to look like, Pokemon Go, a bunch of like Legos, right?
Yes.
So why did you ended up making it look like the real world? What is behind that move?
Yeah. So, again, there are a lot of different people that are attracted to Superworld for a variety of reasons. And I would say that, the singular thing that really unites everyone and really is a core to our vision is Superworld is all about enhancing your real life. It's about the real world. And it might sound ironic to build a virtual world that's focused on the real world and your real life, but that's what we're doing. And so for us, because our focus is on the real world, the quality of, the fidelity of the content needs to be at the highest levels. At the same time, if someone wants to do something that looks more like a cartoon or looks more, stylized in different ways, that's possible too. So just to be clear, Superworld's about the real world. The content that we can, again, utilize in Superworld again is very focused on, whatever anyone wants to do. And, again, in real world settings, if I'm looking at a car, or if I'm looking at, a virtual building, or going on a house tour, those are real world decisions. And I don't want to be in a quote unquote video game and looking at content that looks like a video game. I want content that's high fidelity. But on the other side of that, if I do want to do that, if I do want to see Mickey Mouse, or a cartoon type character in a real world setting, then I might want it to be more stylized in different ways too. So in Superworld, there's no limit to, what is possible.
I have to say, Hrish, I spend half of my Thanksgiving trying to acquire one of my favorite resort in the world, but it's for sale for 100 ETH, which I can't afford, right? It's too bad. But
Where was it?
It's the Amangere in Utah.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yes. Yeah, so someone owned it, and so I can't acquire it now. But anyway, what are your thoughts on this gas fees and Ethereum? It's actually not user friendly to acquire a plot of land. It would take you half a day. Where do you think the future is going to be?
Yeah. So, again, we built Superworld on Ethereum. We started off as one of the first NFTs out there in the market, especially doing virtual land on the blockchain. And Ethereum, again, made a lot of sense then. And I would consider, the size of the ecosystem in terms of decentralized applications still makes considerable sense to build on Ethereum. Now, gas costs are a definite friction to the virtual real estate platform, because you definitely have a high transaction fee to buy virtual real estate. Now, the good thing is that, the average price of a plot of land is, about $300 to $400 based on 0.1 Ether. That's an unpurchased price. And gas costs, again, relative to that, even if you're paying a $100 gas, is still, a quarter of that price, which again, it can go higher than that, and, it can go lower. But if we're just saying it's still a percentage. Now, if you look at other types of NFTs like digital accessories, or, if you want to buy a shirt for an avatar, or you want to buy something that potentially is a lower priced NFT, it could be, $10 or $20. You definitely don't want to pay, a $50 to $100 gas fee for that. And so one of the things that we're doing is we're integrating with Solana, we're integrating with Polygon. And, we're very open blockchain wise, interoperable, I would say, because, gas does cause a higher friction on these other types of products that we will be offering. However, the real estate side of it, even though gas costs are prohibitive in some ways, and you do have to watch gas because it can go up and down during the day, what we found is that our real estate owners, because of the fact that, we have such a big ecosystem on Ethereum, that it is, we have a very robust marketplace on the Ethereum side. But we're doing everything we can to make sure that, we're doing an upgrade actually on our NFT marketplace coming up soon as well. And we're doing, as I mentioned, a few other integrations. And we're very cognizant of how do we make sure that, sellers aren't incurring costs with gas to reprice land, and, other things there that we're, again, trying to make it as seamless as possible. That's our goal as well.
Now, we have a lot of new viewers that have no clue about virtual land. Why they should get on board into this?
So, I think the virtual land idea is a really powerful concept to fully understand. It does take some time to understand why someone would want to own a piece of land when it's virtual. I remember someone told me, isn't the real part of real estate a big part of the word? And though that's true, the beauty of a platform like what we're building at Superworld is that the virtual land covers the surface of the earth. Again, to fully define what we're doing, is Superworld is a virtual real estate platform built on top of the real world. Each plot of land is 100-meter by 100-meter block covering surface of the earth, the whole surface. You can buy any place on the earth. And what you're buying is a digital asset, an NFT, in this case structured as an ERC 721 token that gives you a share of any of the monetization, the economics that happen on that plot of land. Advertising, e-commerce, digital commerce, data, analytics, gaming, DeFi, anything that we recognize geographically that's happening there in terms of monetization, right? And so as a landowner in Superworld, you are able to become a key stakeholder on our platform. So if you understand the vision of what we're building, which is enabling anyone to create anything anywhere, to discover anything from anywhere, and to monetize anything anywhere, and you understand there's an infinite number of filters on the world. So in any location, it's not only what you do there, but it's also the infinite number of other activities that could happen there at the same time, from people there physically or people accessing that content virtually. Then you understand also the potential of virtual, physical, virtual commerce, right? Where you come into a coffee shop and now you're able to achieve something virtually, like a token or a benefit, or do that vice versa, buy something like an NFT and achieve an entrance to a concert or, access to something in the physical world. There's a variety and a multitude of monetization opportunities there. And so once you understand all of that, and then essentially what we're saying is, do you want to acquire locations in the world where all of that activity is happening? And more so, you can have the opportunity to acquire locations that are special to you. So, what I say is, if you're from Indonesia or you're from New York or you're from, Tokyo or, anywhere in the world, you all have your own special places in the world, right? Places that you go, places that you've maybe grew up. And so you have the opportunity to not only acquire those and be able to, earn that monetization, but also you can accrete value. So if you're a business owner, if you're an artist, you're a creator, you are someone that, again, is active in that community, whatever that community is, if it's geographic, if it's a niche kind of demographic community, whatever it is, you can again utilize virtual land to create and accrete value. So that's the value of it.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And thank you for embracing the concept of decentralization. As we all know, everyone's acquiring, big companies acquiring Blizzard, and a little bit scary for the concept of decentralization. Talking about Microsoft owning that data in the gaming world, it's a little bit scary, at least for me. Now, Hrish, for example, okay, I love how you said that. What works for tourism industry? So I bought my special place in Santorini. So right now I own the Blue Dome. What can I do with that? Can I rebuild the Blue Dome? Walk us through, what is the vision of Superworld as a virtual land owner? Is it easy to build?
Yeah, well, that's a great property. Wow, it's amazing. Congrats. I think very recognizable around the world. So again, a high level. So once you own the land, right? So you, first of all, just to walk you step by step, now you've owned an NFT, you own an ERC 721 token. First of all, you can keep that, own it, or you can, again, reprice it to sell. So you can reprice it at, again, whatever price that you choose. So you have the ultimate ability to control that asset and to sell it at whatever price, again, that someone would offer you to buy it from you at. And again, even if you haven't pre-priced to sell, you can also earn bids on that property if someone else wants to give you an offer to buy it from you. So that's number one, and that's active right now. Number two, you can create NFTs there. So you can, again, geographically place digital content, 3D, 2D audio, any type of NFT content, and place those content on your property or anywhere in the world, to be clear. So even on property you don't own, you can monetize those NFTs. Now, if there's any digital commerce happening on your property, meaning other people are selling their NFTs, you're also going to get a share of any of that income. So it's not only what you do on your property, but it's also what happens there. And again, the current functionality of Superworld is you can sell NFTs there. Now, the other thing that you could do is you could create non-NFT augmented reality content, either from your camera roll. You can upload GLB files. The idea there is we want to make it as seamless as possible for you to create content and place it either on your property or anywhere in the world. And so what that means is again, we're on Unity, but we're again open to content that comes from other engines, Blizzard, Maya, wherever you're creating 3D content, LiDAR from your phone. The idea is that there is a real democratization of creating AR content, VR content. All of this is happening. No code revolution that's happening, which is making it easier and easier for anyone to create pretty amazing experiences. And so on our end, what we're trying to do is make it as easy as possible for you to get that content up. And so when you're able to get that content up into specific locations, the opportunity to monetize besides just digital commerce is e-commerce, right? Imagine clicking on an object, a car, or, an accessory or a piece of fashion that goes to the website and you can buy it from there, right? So e-commerce from your store or from Amazon or wherever is another pretty easy kind of intuitively understood way of monetizing. In addition to that, advertising is another thing. And, on ads, it's not, banner ads. It's not like a post like in your face. Think of an experience that, a brand that you love provides for you, and, that you are, able to engage with that brand in ways that you can't do on video, that you can't do on a website, but you can do because you're fully immersed in the real world and you're able to see something immersively around you or hear it, or, if you have a haptic suit on in the future, experience it in a different way. And so the opportunity for advertising in these immersive locations is also pretty amazing to think about. And then again, data, analytics, gaming, maybe the next, experience that you want to take part in, or as a brand you want to create, is a game. It's kind of like a Pokemon Go, where you tell people to, walk around Santorini and collect, certain items to receive, a ticket to go on their cruise, around the islands there. So, the idea is that literally anything is possible. And what we're focused on at Superworld is, building out all of those things that our super citizens like yourself want us to build. And so part of that is really listening to our customers. And so in your case, if you're like, hey, Hrish, guess what? You know what? I have an idea. I'd love to build something like this. Our job is to, really understand what the priority level of that is, and then, build a feature there for you to build that out. That's what we're focused on.
I love it. Thank you. Now, when it comes to security, I own a boutique hotel in the Philippines. I love the Santorini. That's the reason why I acquired it. For example, I'm going to host a wedding there because the Blue Dome, that's every Instagram photos, they want to be out there. And that's the reason why I acquired the property. Now, who's responsible for the security? For example, I'm hosting a wedding in the virtual world. And what if the boyfriend right there would ruin it for everybody? What kind of security you guys would like to do? Or who's responsible for that?
Yeah. So again, I think the way we think about this on the vision side of what we're building is, again, you have a world, I have a world, brands have worlds. There's an infinite number of filters on the world, right? And so your world is, again, your world. You control that content, right? So if you want content to be accessible to everyone, then it's public content. If you want content to be accessible only to your 10 friends who are attending, an event that you're having, then that you can set that as well, right? So ultimately, our goal here is to make every piece of content that you produce fully permissioned, right? So you can have that control of everything that you do. Currently, everything is pretty open because again, we're building out some of those features, and some of the things actually, to be clear, you can control whether it's accessible from here, whether it's private, whether it's public. So that's already in, part of the functionality. But the ultimate goal is not only on the data side, but on the monetization side, on the discovery side, of everything that we do. You as a user, as a creator of those experiences, you're going to be able to control all of those things.
Hmm. Now,
Yeah.
I've been asking a lot
Yeah.
of builder, coder. It's
Mhm.
very pricey to build a world out there.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
thinking about 100 grand to $500,000 to
Yeah.
$1 million. So it's
Yeah.
really not accessible to a lot of people. So when is that, do you think, going to be happening when it's a little bit more affordable to the masses?
Well, first of all, to be clear, in Superworld, you can create content from your camera roll. You can
Hmm.
upload GLB files. Again, some of the technology out there now is, with LiDAR and other technology, the ability to create 3D content is really just scanning an environment, right?
Hmm.
And so, the democratization of this type of content is already underway in terms of you don't need to be a developer to do it. And it's just like anything else. For some people, create and minting an NFT is, a little bit of education that they have to go through. And I think, what we're going to see in the next year or two is, the ability for many people to start creating kind of these 3D content, similar to, what you saw in the late 90s with, the ability to create a website went from something that, only a few developers knew how to do, to where WordPress really made it easy, or, Wix, or, whatever your favorite kind of website builder is, made it really easy for anyone to create a website. And so that's the exact same thing happening on the AR side. And I would tell you that it's there right now. It's just not, evenly distributed, in terms of the information. And it's easy to find, but not everyone has had the reason to go out there and create an AR 3D object yet. But as these technologies become more widespread, as especially what we're doing with Superworld, your interest in creating a really cool AR, avatar or hologram or 3D object, is going to become, something that's going to become more important to you as you start owning land and wanting to populate and develop it.
Hmm. Now,
Yeah.
Rish, for a company standpoint, how do you guys onboarding people? This is so new. It definitely requires a lot of effort. What are you guys doing right now to onboard people?
Yeah. So, the beauty of what we're building is that it is a very viral story. So, I talk
Hmm.
to about 50 to 100 customers every day, and, probably more than that today from this call, this clubhouse I'm on. So, and I love talking to our customers, and, I hear three things, over and over again. And I'll tell you what they are, because I think they're pretty amazing. So the first thing I hear when I talk to people and they grasp what we're doing, when they understand all the facets that I covered earlier, when you asked me what virtual real estate is and how it works and things, when they get all of those things, the first thing I hear is, This blows my mind. This is what they tell me. And I love hearing that because I hear it so much. It's fun to hear it over and over again. I heard it on Necker Island. And so, the idea there is that people, if they're business leaders, they're creators, they're influencers, they're artists, you name it, they realize the potential to create anything anywhere, the potential to discover anything anywhere, to monetize anything anywhere. That really gets them going. They get galvanized. Number two, they tell me over and over again, I've told everyone I know, And so the story, and this goes back to your question, the story is very viral, literally. I mean, I think we've been on the New York Times 3 times in the last month. We were just in The Economist. I was on CNBC. We were on Real Vision yesterday. We're getting a lot of coverage, and thankful to be here today on your show. And it's very special. And I think the reason that happens is because people love hearing the story. They love telling the story. And if they've bought land in Superworld, they will get other people to buy land in Superworld. It's a foregone conclusion, first of all, and we see it in the user behavior, but also, and very importantly, is when they understand the vision and the mission of the company to empower people, to help people build livelihoods in their real life, right? This is live to earn, not play to earn. This is live to earn. And then also, how do we build a better world that actually enhances the real world? How do we take all these technologies to actually improve our planet? We're planting trees in the real world when people buy virtual land. We've partnered with the World Bank in the Caribbean. We've partnered with UN and UNESCO to help rebuild cities. We brought together 2 tribes in the Amazon jungle to, bring together art there so people understand the issues. So the point is that, back to your question about user acquisition, is that the story tells itself, and people want to tell the story. People want to bring this, people on board. And I think the really powerful part of that is, I always say, this isn't a technology company. This is a movement. This is a movement to bring people together collectively to build a better world, to empower people. And we'll utilize all sorts of technologies as technologies evolve and become more accessible, whether you're talking about haptic suits, whether you're talking about the next generation of AR glasses that's coming out soon, whether you're talking about, other technologies like IoT that's, becoming more mainstream. And, the fact is that the way we get out there is our best, ambassadors are super citizens themselves. And then finally, I'll touch on a very other important part of this. Is that, when I talk to you, and we just did this, you and I just now, is I asked you, where did you buy land? Right. And you told me you bought an amazing place in Greece, and you told me about, where it was specifically. You knew about it. You probably had, different connections there. If I go in deeper into the question of why, that place is so important to you. And secondly, you told me the why. You told me a little bit more about why that place is special to you and potentially others. And, if you look at the broader NFT market, you and I both know there's a lot of people who are like, I don't really understand this whole NFT thing, but you know what? I'm going to buy some because I think it's going to go up in value, right? But the difference in Superworld is people covet the places they buy. They understand what we're doing. They understand the vision of why we're building this. They understand how it works even, right? They understand, because it's pretty simple, the way I've explained it, right? And so then the difference is they covet these places. They're like, I own, the Blue Dome in Santorini, and this, I own that. Now I'm thinking about all the things I want to do there. And that's the most important point, is you've also told me what you want to do there, and you want to, potentially, do weddings there or organize experiences there for people, and, things like that. And so the what's are also part of that process, which is, for us, it gives us a very prescriptive process of what to build on the product side, which gets more people kind of more interested in what can be built and what, again, why is that place special and what would they want to do there? And so it's this kind of iterative, circle loop that really gets people involved in Superworld. And that's what we're looking for, is people to get on board, give us ideas, help us build, and be part of Team Superworld. And that's the movement, Team Superworld.
Wow, I love the movement. And I have to say, your mission totally aligned with our Metaverse Collective. The same thing. It's for everybody to collaborate. And yeah, I would love to host a party in the Blue Dome for the collective.
That'd be awesome.
Yes. Now, for a branding standpoint, like for example, the Four Seasons Hotel in New York, why they should acquire it? Would you rather have another person own it or the owner of that hotel?
That's a great question. There's, again, a variety of stakeholders in Superworld that, as you can imagine, right? We have artists, we have, people in the entertainment industry, we have people who are, physical land investors, we have, people who are educators. We have people that are creating, all types of content for different real world, practical things that they're doing, whether it's architecture, something in medicine, like you name it, right? It's a world. And so as you think about the land side of that, right, there's synergies that people have in the real world with land. Some people say, McDonald's isn't a hamburger company, it's a real estate company, right? Because their strategy is owning real estate in the best places in the world. And that's a big part of their balance sheet, right? And so if you take that analogy, some people want to become a key stakeholder in specific locations, want to be able to own that location because they have, potential, again, quote unquote, synergies with that location. And so, as an example of that, if you're an advertising agency and you're already working with clients and you're making lots of content, which could, fit under the definition of marketing or experiences or gaming or any of those kinds of things, it might be synergistic for you to own the locations where you're working with all these clients and where they're going to want to put those experiences and immersive content, right? Because now you're a key stakeholder for not only what you're doing there, but your understanding of what every brand out there in the world is going to want to do in that location, right? So back to your question, if you're a Four Seasons hotel and you have a hotel in a certain block of land in Superworld that covers the surface of the earth, and you have lots of hotels, you as an institution, you as a company could make a decision that, if your hotel is based there and you're going to have a lot of customers coming there and you want to be able to share in, any of the monetization that not only happens for your hotel, but it happens for, again, the music festival that's going to happen there next month, or the arts festival, or the conference. And, again, you have all these kinds of independent parties there. And so you go back to the McDonald's analogy where, they think of this as a big part of their business, is owning the land, besides all the marketing activities that they will do as a company. And you see it as a big driver for their overall business model. And so I think really smart brands, to be honest, are jumping on it, and they're already doing that. You saw the announcement last week, Metaverse Group, bought about up to $1 million of real estate in Superworld. Tokens.com, which is their public entity. And we have lots of other institutional buyers coming in and doing bulk purchases of land in a very strategic way. And some of those are brands, some of those are agencies, some of those are governments, as you know. And so it's a variety of stakeholders who understand, what's happening in the market.
Oh, what exciting. Well, I got it right away. So it's like, I better spend my Thanksgiving acquiring stuff. You know what? It's true. The bragging rights. I mean, I was hanging out with my friends and I said, guess what? I owned a Blue Dome in Santorini and you can visit me. There you go. Dan, back to you.
Yes. So I just wanted to, I know we're at time, so I just want to be respectful, Hrish, of your time. I believe that you had a pretty hard stop right now. Is that correct?
Hold on. Let me just check my calendar.
Okay. And by the way, we actually have Andrew from tokens.com coming in next week. And so he was really excited. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I do have 12 more minutes if we want to go longer. I have a bit more time.
All right, Kate, do you want to do Q&A or do you want to just keep going?
Yeah, let's do Q&A. I know Paul Tachi. Do you have a question, Paul?
Mm-hmm.
Paul? Dan, why don't you do
All right.
Paul?
Yeah, I'll do. There's Paul.